The day of February 29th only happens once every 4 years. It's called Leap Day, and it only happens on leap years. And speaking of leaps, I wanted to discuss the largest and most incredible power leap in Dragon Ball, especially modern Dragon Ball, and that is Frieza. From Dragon Ball Z to Resurrection F the movie and Dragon Ball Super and the Dragon Ball Renaissance, Frieza's power has exploded beyond imagination. On this video, let's analyze and take a deep dive into the calculations of what made Frieza so damn strong in Dragon Ball Super compared to how strong he used to be. We're talking about the biggest power leap on Leap Day. Let's go. The best place to watch anime on all your devices in high definition is Verve. Whether it be the new stuff or the classic anime of the past, Verve's got it. Black Clover, Demon Slayer, Dr. Stone, One Piece, all the episodes streaming right now. Try it for free, vrv.co/geekdom. Use that link to try it for an entire month for free. Frieza's power leap is probably the biggest one in the series. You can argue with Tagoma, you can argue with Gohan in the Cell Saga, you could even make an argument about Goku between Cell and Buu, but Frieza literally leaped all of Dragon Ball Z pretty much after his own arc. He leaped Dragon Ball Z, he leaped Battle of Gods into Resurrection F when he returned, and was able to compete in his golden form, and not only compete with Super Saiyan Blue Goku, who had just gotten the form not too long before the movie events happened, or the arc events, whichever one you want to talk about, but Frieza was able to compete and actually beat or be stronger than Super Saiyan Blue Goku, but of course his body could not withstand the power, which is classic Frieza. Now, just looking at that is absurd. So to discuss this incredible power leap, please welcome back to the channel. He was on this channel before. We discussed the biggest power leaps in Dragon Ball history, but now we're going to focus specifically on Golden Frieza and how crazy it was. Please welcome back Mike from Laughingstock Media. How's it going?
Hey guys, I'm looking forward to talking about this topic because it can get pretty complicated and convoluted the further we go down the rabbit hole.
Right, and of course, a lot of this is going to be theoretical. Unfortunately, we have not gotten guidebooks that have given us details on a lot of this from Dragon Ball Super or from the Resurrection F film. So a lot of this is just trying to figure this out and unravel this puzzle. It's not a definitive answer. If you have a counter answer, of course, leave your comments down below. I'd be more than happy to look at those. But before we get to that, please pause the video, check out Mike from Laughingstock Media's channel right now. Still putting out thought-provoking content over on his channel. So I want y'all, if you're new here and you haven't checked out Mike's channel, go check it out. I will leave a link in the description and go subscribe to him. So there's your plug, bro. I'm giving up some retention for you there. All right, Golden Frieza. Now, Frieza, just the character of Frieza alone, this is ridiculous. And he was the villain of the second major arc in Dragon Ball Z. Super Saiyan Goku on Namek was able to defeat him, and then of course Trunks pretty much squashed him like an 80s WWF jobber when he showed up. So Frieza goes from being below Super Saiyan Goku level, which is probably the weakest Super Saiyan we have seen in the series at that point. Well, the only one, really. Not including Bardock and all that stuff. Just within the main manga and anime. And then he goes from that to just surpassing Super Saiyan God Goku, who was able to compete with a not full power Beerus, but still compete with Beerus. Obviously, Beerus would beat Frieza in a fight. We know that. Yeah. But nonetheless, this is just freaking crazy. And if we look at the Super Saiyan scale, for example, Super Saiyan is a 50 times multiplier based on the original, Toriyama statement. And then Super Saiyan 2 is another double that, so it's 100%. Or 100 times, I'm sorry. And then Super Saiyan 3 is 4 times that, so it's 400 times base. Frieza was beneath the bottom of that, not including Goku's base form evolution throughout Z, which I did a whole video on with Seth about Goku's base form. It got stronger and stronger and stronger. Goku in base in the Buu saga would mop the floor with Goku and Super Saiyan from Namek. It's a different level of power. Stacking all of that, Super Saiyan 3, 400 times base, loses to Beerus with one flick, and Frieza in 4 months was able to jump all of that. It's crazy.
It's pretty ridiculous to say the least. And, it really depends on how you scale the series because, again, even though we are using objective variables when we're discussing the scaling of Dragon Ball Z and Super, it really depends.
You mean subjective? Subjective.
Well, I'm saying that the scaling is subjective because it depends on person to person how you interpret it.
Right.
But we do have some objective variables such as the multipliers from the guides, if you really want to count them. So, the thing is that let's start with your assessment that Goku in his base form in the Buu Saga, let's say that he's comparable in strength to his Super Saiyan when he fought Frieza on Namek. Let's say
I would say stronger. Yeah, I would say stronger.
Just to round down, because people know I love to downplay characters, but not really. But let's just say that he's equal, so 150 million. We're not going to go too far into power levels because, I know how many comments we're going to get in the comments about how they're particularly not reasonable, and we know that after Frieza, they don't really
There's
exist.
no more power levels. Yeah.
So the
numbers are too high.
So when we look at, how strong Frieza was, he was weaker than that, obviously, at 100% power. So Goku, from that point, he trains on Yardrat, and he gets it to where he can use his Super Saiyan at an even higher level, and he could be even stronger while fighting against people such as the androids. Then he trains for 3 years with Gohan and Piccolo. Then he trains in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber for a year. Then he trains for 7 years with a dead spiritual body in the afterlife in heaven with King Kai, unlocks Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3, and then he becomes Super Saiyan God, and then...
No, I'm just saying it's literally a decade of off-screen training, and Frieza passed all of that in 4 months.
It's ridiculous when you think about it. So, one of the big things we have to get into is exactly how strong Goku was at the time that Frieza fights him in order to give us, the true idea of just how strong Frieza got, because I wouldn't say it's hundreds of times or even thousands, because it seems like it gets into the millions or higher, considering just how powerful Super Saiyan God appears to be. So,
and we're not even talking about Blue, which is higher than God.
Which he's technically stronger than, which they go even further into in the Super version of the events, where Goku is fighting against Golden Frieza, and he's like, oh, from the energy I can sense, I'm stronger. It's like, well, Frieza, how did you learn how to sense God Ki? But I guess that's a whole different story altogether.
I did a whole video on that when it first happened. And that's only in the Super events, which I don't really count because Toriyama had nothing to do with those extra lines.
Yeah, so, if we say that, let's say that at the beginning of Battle of Gods, that Goku is, twice as strong in just his base form as he was when he fought Frieza on Namek as a Super Saiyan. Again, you could say it's downplaying or just,
that's a heavy downplay. No, that's a heavy downplay, bro. I think he's way stronger than that.
But let's just say that for now, because I want to just show you guys how ridiculous it is, this boost. And
so you're basically downplaying to make the math simpler.
Yeah, just to make it easier for people, for people to go after it. Because some people think he's way stronger, some people think he's way weaker. So I'm trying to meet you guys in the middle here with that. So if we say that Goku's base form was about that, then, of course, 400 times that as Super Saiyan 3 still gets finger-flicked by Beerus, as you said before. So that means that when he goes that, he's still so significantly below Beerus that he even says that, I don't think if I were to fuse with Vegeta, we would be able to defeat Beerus. Which means that he's saying right then and there that even Vegito, or at least, Gogeta, one of those two, from that point in time, would not even be able to defeat Beerus.
Yeah, at that point, we're not talking about Gogeta Blue or Vegito Blue. This is before Blue even happened.
Yes, absolutely. So the next part would have to be, Super Saiyan God's level of power, because it seems pretty clear that what they're trying to tell us is that Goku, when he becomes a Super Saiyan God, is more powerful than he would have been as Vegito or Gogeta, even as a hypothetical Super Saiyan 3 Vegito or Gogeta, which is, again, a huge leap in power.
Yeah.
And, again, it depends on what particular multiplier you would say for fusion. Now, for me, I've never really bought the whole idea that Potara fusion is Goku times Vegeta or this person times that person, because
the guidebooks say that, but I never bought it either.
Yeah, that would be such a gigantic boost. It's not even funny, you know. It would be
no, I think it's actually more than that. I think it's higher,
billions
honestly,
or trillions of times stronger, depending on their power level. But again, you know, that just factors in that if Super Saiyan God is stronger than that, and then we're told that Goku absorbs that power to either being, you know, that level of power as a Super Saiyan or just that level of power in his base alone, which would mean that his power in base is either 2% or 100% of Super Saiyan God, and then he has those 3 forms on top of that. Then he trains with Whis, and he gets Super Saiyan God again, presumably, but we know he gets Super Saiyan Blue, which is even stronger than that. That goes to show you that, you know, for Frieza to scale up to Goku at that level of power at that time after 4 months, that's not just thousands, that's millions or even higher, billions perhaps, times greater in 4 months alone.
I would say multi-million. And you also have to remember the other thing, too, in Resurrection F. Frieza was able to punch Gohan one time in the stomach and knock him out. And we're talking about a Gohan that was astronomically stronger than he was on Namek. Now, yes, that Gohan's not as strong as he would become at the later parts of Super. And he's not as cool as he was as, you know, Ultimate Gohan, the Buu Saga. But still, Frieza in his first form, you have to remember that. This is first form Frieza, which supposedly was at 530,000, which is way below final form Frieza, was able to one-shot Gohan and pretty much, if he wanted to, kill all the freaking Z fighters in Resurrection F, including Piccolo, who had at that point fused with Kami and trained and all that. You've got a lot of intense stuff there. So I would agree with you in that Frieza's power, it was up millions. He was millions of times stronger. We can't really pinpoint how much, because like you said, it's variable. Yeah. We don't know exactly how much stronger God is from 3. We don't know. There's just no way to tell. But we do know that. And we also don't know how Goku's base evolved. We have ideas. We don't know exactly how much. But it does make sense. They would be in the multi-millions. Billions, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But multi-millions to me makes the most sense.
And billions,
let me know in the comments.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, you know, billions does seem a little too high. And, you know, there is that one statement we do get at the beginning of Battle of Gods, the movie, and in Super, where Beerus is examining Goku's base, and he's saying, I don't think you could beat Frieza with this level.
I hate that line, because it makes no sense.
I mean, it could be Toriyama trying to subtly reset the power scale a little bit.
Well, that was only in the TV version, though. That was not in the movie version. So I think that might have just been Toei, again, changing lines around. Toei really messed up. Yes, they do. The arcs for Dragon Ball Super that were based off of the movies, Toei loved to go in there and make changes that were not in Toriyama's script. Yusuke Watanabe wrote Battle of Gods. Toriyama revised it. Toriyama wrote Resurrection F, the entire script, and none of those lines were in there, and they were all changed by Toei, by Toei's writers. That's been confirmed, by the way. I went into that in detail in my Dragon Ball Super 2020 behind-the-scenes video. A lot of stuff that people would have to remember about Toriyama's involvement in this series. Let us know in the comments what you think. Do you think Frieza is millions of times stronger? I think it's unquantifiable in the thousands. It has to be somewhere in the millions. And thank you, Mike, for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me. I always like to talk about just how insane some of these boosts are in Dragon Ball Super, because we go from something like Dragon Ball Z, where, you know, it seems like sometimes these characters are slowing down in terms of just how high they can grow in power, and then we get to Dragon Ball Super, and it just goes to whole new universes of power.
Yeah, it's insane, and we'll see where they go from now on. But, hey, happy Leap Day, and I hope that, well, maybe we'll see y'all in 4 years for another Power Leap video.
We'll have to see.
Who knows? I'll talk to you soon. Later.